Today, we're going to look at injuries that affect the tendons, ligaments, and menisci, some of the most common musculoskeletal problems you'll encounter in both acute and rehab settings. We'll cover rotator cuff tears, epicondylitis, collateral ligament injuries, cruciate ligament injuries, meniscal injuries, and Achilles tendon ruptures. The rotator cuff is made up of 4 muscles and their tendons: supraspinatus, infraspinatus, teres minor, and subscapularis. Together, they stabilize the humeral head in the shoulder socket and allow us to lift and rotate the arm. A tear happens when one of these tendons rips, either from acute trauma or chronic stress. Contributing factors can be intrinsic, like age-related wear, or extrinsic, like overuse or a fracture. Patients often complain of a dull, aching pain that gets worse with use, tenderness to touch, decreased strength, limited range of motion, and trouble sleeping on the affected side. Diagnosis usually requires imaging: X-ray, MRI, or ultrasound. Sometimes CT or arthrography is used if a labral injury is suspected. Treatment depends on patient age, health, activity level, and the type of tear. Conservative options include physical therapy, rest and activity modification, NSAIDs, and corticosteroid injections. If these fail, surgery may be considered: open, mini-open, or arthroscopic repair. Postoperatively, the shoulder is immobilized with a sling for 4 to 6 weeks, followed by months of rehabilitation. Long-term recovery depends heavily on the patient's commitment to physical therapy. Lateral and medial epicondylitis. Next, let's talk about epicondylitis. This is inflammation and micro-tearing of tendons at the elbow, usually from repetitive motions. Lateral epicondylitis is tennis elbow. It comes from repeated wrist extension and supination. Pain is felt over the lateral epicondyle and wrist extensor muscles. Medial epicondylitis is golfer's elbow. It's tied to repetitive wrist flexion and pronation. Pain is felt at the medial epicondyle and wrist flexor muscles. Lateral epicondylitis is much more common than medial. Management starts with rest and stopping the aggravating activity. Ice and NSAIDs help with pain and inflammation. Sometimes a splint is used, and in severe cases, corticosteroid injections may be considered, though these can weaken tendons. Physical therapy and rehab exercises are first-line treatments. Some patients may try modalities like TENS, ultrasound, or shockwave therapy, but evidence is mixed. Surgery is a last resort for those who fail conservative care. Collateral ligament injuries, MCL, LCL. The medial and lateral collateral ligaments stabilize the sides of the knee. These are commonly injured when the foot is planted and the knee is struck from the side, either stretching or tearing the opposite ligament. Patients report sudden pain, tenderness, joint instability, and difficulty walking. Early management includes rice, analgesics, and protecting the joint. If bleeding into the joint, hemarthrosis occurs, aspiration may be necessary. Mild to moderate injuries are managed conservatively with hinged braces, crutches if needed, and strengthening exercises. Severe MCL injuries may require non-weight-bearing status for weeks before gradual rehab. Severe LCL injuries often require surgical repair, followed by bracing and physical therapy. Nurses play a big role in teaching patients about safe use of crutches, brace care, cold therapy, pain management, and monitoring for complications such as infection, skin breakdown, or venous thromboembolism. Cruciate ligament injuries, AC-PCL. The cruciate ligaments, the ACL and PCL, cross each other in the middle of the knee, stabilizing forward and backward motion. Injury happens when the foot is planted and a force pushes the leg forward or backward. Patients often describe hearing or feeling a pop. Rapid swelling within 2 hours strongly suggests a cruciate tear. Immediate care includes rice, NSAIDs, and joint stabilization. A fusion or hemarthrosis may require aspiration. Crutches are used to avoid weight bearing if the knee is unstable. Active younger patients, especially athletes, often choose surgery, usually arthroscopic reconstruction with tendon grafts. Older or less active patients may do well with non-surgical management. After surgery, patients need careful pain control, cryotherapy, neurovascular monitoring, wound care, and supervised rehab exercises. Protecting the graft is critical, and adherence to restrictions is essential for recovery. Meniscal injuries. The menisci are crescent-shaped pieces of cartilage in the knee that act as shock absorbers. They can be injured by twisting motions, squatting, or high-impact activity. Patients may describe the knee giving way, hearing clicks, or experiencing the knee locking. especially with bucket-handle tears. Swelling is common due to excess synovial fluid. Conservative management includes rest, ice, crutches, NSAIDs, and physical therapy. Diagnosis is confirmed with MRI or arthroscopy. Surgery may involve partial or total meniscectomy. Post-op rehab focuses on quadricep strengthening, ROM exercises, and sometimes biofeedback. Weight-bearing protocols vary widely, from several weeks of non-weight-bearing to immediate protected weight-bearing with a brace. Finally, let's look at the Achilles tendon, the largest tendon in the body, connecting the calf muscles to the heel bone. Despite its size, it's prone to rupture, especially in active middle-aged men. Rupture often happens during a forceful push-off or unexpected dorsiflexion. Patients often describe hearing a pop and then feel sudden pain in the back of the ankle, followed by weakness and inability to push off or bear full weight. Diagnosis is based on clinical exam plus MRI or ultrasound. Treatment options: non-operative, casting or bracing, followed by gradual weight-bearing and physical therapy. Operative, surgical repair, typically for younger or athletic patients. Surgery is often followed by early functional rehab, which has been shown to improve satisfaction and speed return to activity. Rehabilitation usually lasts about 6 weeks, though full recovery takes longer. Wrap up. So, to summarize, rotator cuff tears limit shoulder function and often require long rehab. Epicondylitis is an overuse injury of the elbow tendons. Collateral and cruciate ligament injuries destabilize the knee. Management ranges from bracing to surgery. Meniscal injuries can cause mechanical symptoms like clicking and locking. Achilles ruptures are dramatic injuries that may be managed surgically or non-surgically. Across all of these, nursing care focuses on pain management, patient education, assistive devices, complication monitoring, and supporting long-term rehabilitation.